16,460 NIS and NSCDC jobs.
On business, Labour backs Emefiele on CBN's Naira valuation. While in sports, Balotelli joins Serie B club AC Monza.
Details of these and more after this short break. I am Godslove Orlando. And now the news in details. Hearing of petitions against Edo State governorship election commenced at the State High Court in Benin City on Monday. This is coming 10 weeks after the conduct of the polls. During Monday's sitting, 5 petitions filed challenging the victory of Governor Godwin Obaseki in the September 19th governorship election were listed. They are Action Democratic Party and its governorship candidate Emmanuel Iboy, the Action Democratic Party ADP and Emmanuel Iboy versus INEC, PDP, Godwin Obaseki, APC, Osage Izeyamu. Others include the Allied People's Movement versus INEC, PDP, Godwin Obaseki and Philip Schwaibu, Ago Ebun Tracy versus INEC, PDP and Godwin Obaseki, Action People's Party versus Godwin Obaseki, PDP and INEC, and the Action Alliance and Another versus Godwin Obaseki, PDP and INEC. After the announcement of appearances, the counsel to the first respondent, INEC, Adegboyega Awumolo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, informed the tribunal that they had filed a total of 3 processes. They include motion on notice dated 13th November 2020 and filed on the 20th of November, first respondent reply on point of law, and reply to counter affidavit of fourth respondent, APC. The counsel to the second respondent, the PDP, Adetunji Oyeyipo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, told the tribunal that they filed an application dated 11th November 2020 and subsequently filed 2 fresh applications on Monday. The fresh application seek the striking out of the names of the 4th and 5th respondents as respondents to the petition, while the second application seeks an order striking out paragraphs 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21 of the petition. The chairman of the tribunal, Abdulrazak Abdul Karim, struck out the second respondent's application which he had applied to withdraw. Still in Edo State, a woman identified as Patience, widow of late Samuel Imaikop, on Monday appeared before the Edo State Judicial Panel of Inquiry for Victims of SARS and related abuses to demand for 50 million naira as compensation for the death of her husband, who was allegedly murdered by men of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad alongside 3 of his laborers in 2013. Patience Imaikop told the panel that her late husband, who once had an argument with the disbanded SARS few days before his death, was on his way to his farm in Uti village along with his 3 laborers when the police shot and killed them. Patience further alleged that after killing them, their bodies were hurriedly taken away for burial. She said the family, however, mounted pressure on the police to exhume the body of her husband for an autopsy, and that the results from the autopsy revealed that he died from bullet wounds. Similarly, Rosemary Amadine, also through her counsel, approached the panel asking for 25 million naira as compensation over the death of her husband, Amadi Odewingie. Rosemary told the panel that her husband, a truck driver, was chased to death by Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS of the Edo State Police Command at Ologbo in 2019. She said in order to avoid being shot by the police, he decided to jump into the Ologbo River, and when he requested for help, the police allegedly threatened to kill anyone who has volunteered to help him. Chairman of the panel, Justice Adayi Gemose, however, adjourned in order for the police to also state their own side of the story. And now we away from Edo State, where the President, Muhammadu Buhari, has appointed Bello Hassan as the new Managing Director of Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC. He also appointed Mustafa Ibrahim as Executive Director of the corporation. This is just as the President reappointed Ahmed Kuru as Managing Director and Eberichuku Uneze and Aminu Ismail as Executive Directors of the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON, for the final term of 5 years. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, disclosed this in a statement on Monday. Shehu said the nominations had been forwarded to the Senate for confirmation. The two nominees are to succeed Umaru Ibrahim and Prince Agatise Erediowa, whose second term end December 8, 2020 as Managing Director and Executive Director Operations, respectively. Meanwhile, Honorable Molola Abiola Edewo is to continue as Executive Director Corporate Services in the NDIC until her second and final term ends on January 24th, 2022. And now we'll move to Lagos State, where the federal government has announced the commencement of commercial operations on the Lagos-Ibadan rail line. The presidency, in a tweet on Monday, said the commercial operations commenced this Monday and formal commissioning will be held in the first quarter of 2021. Also, the Special Assistant to President Buhari on Digital and New Media, Tolu Ogunlesi, via his official Twitter handle, said the rail line has commenced operation with only one trip return for now. Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi last week, while speaking in Abuja at the inauguration of elected members of the Chartered Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria, disclosed that President Muhammadu Buhari will commission the newly constructed Lagos-Ibadan rail line by January 2021. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday warned that any act of hooliganism hiding behind lawful and peaceful protests will be dealt with decisively to ensure peace and stability in the country. The president's comment comes as some Nigerians prepare to take to the street again in continuation of the #EndSARS protest. The Nigerian leader then commended the country's armed forces for quelling the violence that fueled the #EndSARS protest. In his speech, Buhari described the year 2020 as a very challenging one, citing the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic and its negative impact on almost every aspect of national life. In Cross River, the state police has vowed to deal decisively with any person or group of persons who gather with the intent to protest or carry out any procession in the state. In a press release by the Commissioner of Police, Abubakar Jimo, through the Police Public Relations Officer DSP Irene Ugbo, on Monday, the CP warned that no form of gathering, protest or procession will be allowed. He said the Cross River State Police Command wishes to draw the attention of the general public against any gatherings, procession or protest in Cross River, as some unscrupulous individuals or group of persons are planning to embark on another similar destructive and fierce EndSARS protest that left unsuspecting and law-abiding citizens into a repeated wanton destruction in the state. The command has actionable intelligence. The command has actionable intelligence that certain individuals or groups have concluded plans to entice innocent citizens, especially youth, into their planned protest, which is proposed to commence Monday, 7th December 2020 at strategic locations in the state. Meanwhile, protesters on Monday hit streets in Osogbo, capital of Osun State, demanding the release of all detained protesters and unfreezing of their accounts by the Central Bank of Nigeria. The protesters converged at the Ogoluwa area and marched to the Osun State House of Assembly along with the State Secretariat at Bere. President Muhammadu Buhari will on Thursday address a joint session of the National Assembly. This is according to the President's personal assistant on social media, Loretta Onoche. Onoche disclosed this on Monday via her Twitter handle. This is coming a few days after the House of Representatives said Buhari will appear before the House. A spokesman for the Green Chamber, Ben Kalu, had disclosed this while briefing journalists at the National Assembly. Coming up in a moment, INEC pledges support for families of drowned policemen in Bayelsa election. Please stay with us.
At split seconds, there is a lot happening around us, but we can't be everywhere all the time. We've got work, families, and chores to cater to, and most importantly, time to rest. And that's why having a reliable partner like KUFM News is important. Sleeping? We don't. We work round the clock, bringing you stories as they break from Nigeria and across the world. We will stop at nothing to keep you informed, because KUFM News is all about you and stories that affect you. Politics, business, human interests, sports, entertainment, just name it. We've got you covered. KUFM News. Timely, precise, spot on.
Thank you so much for staying with us. You're welcome back. It's still News Dawn in 92.7 KUFM. Now to the rest of the news, where in Bayelsa State, the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC says it will support the families of 6 policemen who drowned while on election duty to Southern Ijo local government area of the state. The INEC National Supervising Commissioner in charge of Bayelsa, Rivers and Edo states, May Agbamuche, made the disclosure at the state INEC headquarters, Yenagoa, during the declaration of results for the senatorial by-elections. Recall that 6 policemen were reported missing after the speedboat that was conveying them to their place of election assignment capsized last Friday along the Southern Ijo River. Their bodies were later discovered by a combined team of officers from the Marine Department of the Command and local divers and had been deposited in one of the mosques in the state. 190,000 applicants are jostling for 9,460 job slots at the Nigeria Immigration Service and Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps (NCDC). The candidates sat for the examination on Monday in 126 centers nationwide, including the Federal Capital Territory (FCT). The examination, which was computer-based, was conducted by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAMB). Speaking with reporters after monitoring the exercise, Secretary of the Civil Defense, Correctional, Fire and Immigration Service Board, Yakmot Sela, expressed delight over the seamless conduct of the recruitment exam by JAMB. He said the computer-based test was conducted by JAMB and was adopted to ensure transparency and avoid rancor and confusion that trailed a similar exercise in 2014. He said results from the JAMB recruitment exam will be released immediately after the exercise. On a sad note, back to Edo State, where the General Overseer of the Spirit and Life Bible Church, Apostle Eunice Osagede, is dead. Apostle Osagede reportedly died on Monday of yet-to-be-disclosed illness. Meanwhile, Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki has described the death of Mrs. Osagede as shocking. In a statement on Monday night, Governor Obaseki said he is extremely pained by the death of Osagede, whom he described as a truly Jesus woman who was one of the shining lights of Edo and a great achiever. The governor noted that she has left great legacies in the vineyard of God and will continue to serve as an example to many striving to know God intimately. Coming up in a moment in our business news, Labour backs Emefiele on CBN's Naira's valuation. Charles Operum has more on our business news this morning.
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 600 billion, and the last kobo. Oh yes, we follow the money. It's all about the business and the business of business, the gains and the losses, the bulls and bears, the rise and falls, the risk and the satisfaction of seeing the last kobo rise to millions. On KUFM's Business News, the simple and complex jargons of business just make sense. Get the trending news on the money market, forecasts, investment opportunities, policy changes, and other breakout information on the ever-busy world of business. KU Business News, Monday to Friday on our News Dawn, 6:30 to 7 a.m.
Organized Labour has commended the recent measures by the Central Bank of Nigeria aimed at shoring up the value of the Naira. The Naira recently reversed its depreciation trend in the parallel market, recording 20 Naira gain against the United States dollar, closing at 470 Naira per dollar, to what observers attributed to the new rules introduced by the CBN, which allowed beneficiaries of diaspora remittances and foreign exchange transfers into domiciliary accounts to collect the proceeds in foreign currencies. Speaking at the one-day interactive session with stakeholders on the 5-year policy thrust of the Apex Bank in Kaduna, Vice President of Industrial Global Union, Comrade Isa Aremu, hailed the CBN's Monetary Policy Committee for resisting the pressures to benchmark the real value of Naira with what he called speculative parallel market rates. The frontline Labour leader described currency devaluation in the developing economy as false economics. He observed that Naira's worth was better determined by market fundamentals aimed at driving growth and development and protecting wage income rather than satisfying the insatiable urge of currency speculators for unearned profits on the streets. Meanwhile, Nigeria's total foreign trade for the third quarter of 2020 declined by 85% compared to the third quarter of last year, even though it rose by 34.15% on a quarterly basis. This was according to a recently released foreign trade report by the National Bureau of Statistics. Also from the report, total imports rose by 33.77% in the third quarter of 2020 compared to 4.02 trillion naira recorded in the second quarter of 2020 to stand at 5.38 trillion naira and 38.02% increase compared to 3.89 trillion naira recorded in third quarter of 2019. Total exports was 34.85% higher in the third quarter of 2020 compared to 2.22 trillion naira recorded in quarter 2 2020, but 43.41% less than the 5.29 trillion naira recorded in the third quarter of 2019. And that's it on business. About now to sports, where Balotelli joins Serie B club AC Monza. More to come in our business news. In our sports news, rather. And in sports this morning, former Inter Milan and Manchester City striker Mario Balotelli has signed for Serie B side AC Monza until the end of the season. Balotelli, 30, who has been without a club since leaving Brescia this summer, trained with Serie D side Franciacorta in November. Monza, who have ex-Tottenham midfielder Kevin Prince Boateng in their squad, are 9th in the table. During his time at Inter Milan, Balotelli won the Champions League, 3 Serie A titles, the Coppa Italia and the Italian Super Cup. He found the back of the net 28 times in 86 appearances for the Nerazzurri. And at Manchester City, he won the Premier League and FA Cup, scoring 30 goals in 80 matches. And finally in sports, Frank Lampard has not ruled out sending Billy Gilmore on loan, but says he is under no pressure to sell £71 million Kepa Arrizabalaga. The Chelsea manager faces a number of transfer dilemmas ahead of the January window, with a host of French players desperate to be part of next summer's Euros. Olivier Giroud has made it clear he needs more game time if he is going to be part of the world champions France's plans, while Antonio Rudiger, Callum Hudson-Odoi and Kepa have also had to accept limited opportunities. Gilmore is a different case, having only broken through late last season, but with Scotland qualifying for their first major tournament in 22 years, the midfielder has his own international ambitions. Lampard believes the 19-year-old has a major part to play at Stamford Bridge, but was evasive regarding his immediate future. And that's it on sports. I'm Charles Oberon. Back to you, Gustav Orlando, for the rest of the news.
Thank you so much, Charles, and that's the news. But before we go, let's take a quick recap of the headlines. Tribunal hears 5 petitions against September 19th governorship poll in Edo State. President Barry says government will deal decisively with any act of hooliganism from protesters. And finally on News Dawn this morning, 190,000 applicants jostle for 9,460 NIS and NCDC jobs. Please do remember that the continued unity of Nigeria is a collective responsibility. Be sure to play your part. Do not forget you can listen to us anywhere in the world, either by visiting our website at www.kufm.net, or you can download our KU mobile app from the Google Play Store. Remember, we're also live on YouTube at KUFM Nigeria, and you can listen to us now on radiogarden.com. KUFM News Dawn was produced by Lebedum Asagwaram. I am God's Love Orlando, saying thanks for listening and good morning.
They hate us.